For today's watch review, we're taking a look at the Steeldive 1969, which is a homage to the Omega Ploprof. So let's get right into it. For price, the version that I got was with the black rubber strap, and I ended up paying $385 out the door. For you, that price may vary just slightly, but really the only thing that changes is the style of bracelet or strap that you get. The great thing about these prices is, just like with the $100 in my previous reviews, the price that is on the website is the price that you're gonna pay, so you don't have to do any tax calculations. That's straight up what you're gonna pay out the door, and I really like that. Now let's just take a look at the 360 view. It's always good to see a watch with light playing on different angles, because you can only tell so much from a 2D picture. There's a case back. And just a disclaimer, this bracelet, I already had this bracelet. I purchased it off of eBay. This is not what you're gonna get from Steeldive. I think personally this is probably a higher quality bracelet. If you want to know where I got it from, just let me know in the comments and I can share the link. But there you go. Here's a close-up of the case back. I wanted to share the design here. I just think it's cool. Of all of the logos of these Chinese watch companies, I'm not going to call them micro brands, but you know what I mean, like Heimdallr, Proxima, Steeldive. I think Steeldive probably has the coolest looking logo, and so I do appreciate this cool design that they have on the case back. For dimensions, from the edge of this crown guard to right here at around 3 o'clock, we're looking at 56 millimeters, and then a case height of just under 16 millimeters, so 15.7, and then lug to lug, let's see if I can do this right here, 48 millimeters. For weight, keep in mind I've got my own personal steel bracelet on it, so weight is obviously going to be different for you, but ballpark with a steel bracelet you're looking at 242 grams and 8.5 ounces. So it's a beefy watch, I'm not gonna lie to you about that. But I like that. If you are like me and you like a watch with some heft, then you know this watch just might be up your alley. And here is how it sits on my 7.5-inch wrist. A lot of people say that the diameter is big, but because the lug to lug is reasonable, it wears very comfortably, and I agree with them. You know, obviously it's got some corners here, so it's not going to be your most comfortable watch, but I can wear it all day long. I can work out with it, and I've had no issues in the gym doing any kind of like pressing movement that requires my arm to go or my wrist to go like that. So, you know, if you can wear it working out, then that's about as comfortable as you're gonna get. Now going over some functions and features, starting off with the most obvious, you've got this bi-directional bezel here that can only be operated when you sort of like unlock it by pressing this pusher right here. So while it's locked in place. Now you can see that there is some play, but at this price range, I think this is perfectly acceptable. I have seen another watch review on YouTube where they had quite a bit of backplay. For me, this is minimal. So, you know, maybe there might be differing levels of quality control between your version and my version, but I don't know. At least for me personally, this is acceptable. Now you push this pusher, and then you can move it one way or the other. Now I did see another review on a blog covering the Steeldive 1969, and they mentioned that their bezel didn't click. So again, might be differing levels of quality control, but for my personal version, it clicks and it's actually very satisfying. and I like this feature. I like the fact that you can go both directions, because that way you can just quickly get to where you want to go without having to go, you know, only one direction. Not a big deal, but it's just a cool little function or feature, whatever you want to call it, that is not really available on any other dive watch. For the internals, we've got the NH35. Everybody knows and loves that movement. It's been proven, it's cheap and affordable. So I have not had any issues with reliability or timekeeping. Taking a look at the crown, we do have a screw down crown, and that is guarded by this little piece right here. So this crown guard, when you unscrew the crown, this portion right here releases from the main case. It stays attached, it just kind of loosens up, giving you the ability to access the first and second position. So let's go ahead and show you what that looks like. So you unscrew the crown, and then you see it kind of like releases from the case right there. So now you can either hand wind the movement or adjust the day or the date and the time as necessary. Now I'm going to try and screw this back in through the viewfinder. There we go. And then once you screw it back in, it reattaches to the main case or the main body, and it is like locked in there, and it doesn't wobble at all. So kind of a cool feature. Ideally, you know, I would like something a little bit more accessible, but I understand why they did that, and it's pretty cool. You've also got this helium escape valve right here. So if you didn't know how these work, is once the pressure builds up to a certain point, it generates enough strength to push open the spring pressure that is keeping this valve shut. So once that pressure builds up, it opens up that valve and lets all the helium escape out. So, you know, it's kind of cool. So covering water resistance, the website and even the case back says that this is a 1200 meter water resistant watch. I'm going to take that with a grain of salt, because 1200 meters is really friggin' deep, and I'm just not sure that a $400 watch can get you there, because 1200 meters of water resistance requires a lot of research and development, a lot of special kind of machining, and you know, I don't know, I could be completely wrong, but I'm just going to assume that this is probably more like a 1 to 200 meter water resistant watch, because that's what other Steeldive watches go for at similar price ranges. For the crystal, we've got a flat sapphire crystal, always a great thing. I've been loving these sapphire crystals on these budget-friendly watches. This one does have the anti-reflective coating on it. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Let me know if you like AR coatings. I've heard stories where they flake off onto the dial, but so far I've been really liking it, and I think this one looks just fine. Lume on this watch is actually surprisingly fantastic. You've got it all around the bezel and on the indices, an hour and minute hand and second hand, and I'll tell you what, this is probably one of my better functioning Lume watches. You can see on the screen, it's got that beautiful blue, almost turquoise color, and it lasts throughout the night. You know, I wake up at 4 to 5 o'clock in the morning, and the first thing I do is I look at my watch, and it's still glowing pretty strong. So definitely great job on the Lume here. This is the black rubber strap or band that came with my watch. Quality is great, you know, it's solid. It's definitely a thicker rubber. I ideally don't like rubber. I would prefer silicone or some type of resin. But at the price range and for what it is, it's fine. The great thing is most of the time these companies will give you an extra strap or band. So far, every single watch that I've purchased from Heimdallr and including Steeldive, I've received an extra band. And sometimes all you got to do is send them an email, but they're more than happy to accommodate. You know, hopefully your experience is not different from mine, but I think that's just a great level of customer service. Not important, but this is also what the watch comes in, this cheap plastic case. But, you know, cheap plastic is better than cheap cardboard, which is what you're getting from most other big name watch companies like Citizen or Seiko. So again, I think this adds to the overall score of customer service. They didn't have to do that, and also they give you tools, you know, cheap tools, but tools nonetheless that help you swap out your bracelet or band. And again, I don't think any other watch companies do that, or at least the big name brands don't. So, you know, big ups to those watch companies from China. For fit and finish, it's fantastic. I knew that I wasn't going to get the same level of quality from Omega, you know, and I think that'd be unrealistic to assume that you're going to get something anywhere close to the original, because, you know, the Omega Ploprof averages for around 7 to 10 grand. You know, obviously the quality is going to be better, but in this case, I don't know, you know, it's really good looking. It's a handsome watch and it feels great. You've got the shined polish around the edge, but then it's brushed all on the main body, and then same thing with the bezel. You know, it's polished on the outer, I don't even know what you want to call that, but you know, it's polished and brushed, and it gives it just a very, like, an overall good quality watch, if you get what I'm trying to say here. And then the case back too, you know, you got that awesome looking screw down case back. They really didn't cheap out on that. I feel like they went all out on it, and really the result speaks for itself. You've got a very great package. So again, no complaints with the fit and finish here. Now, just going over my personal thoughts, I am extremely impressed with this Homage. I think with all the other Homages that you can get, like the Submariners and the Tunas and whatever, those are, you know, for lack of a better term, they're easy watches to copy or be inspired from. Now this one, I think this one took some special increased level of caring and attention to detail, and I appreciate that, especially at this price range. I don't think I got something cheap, and I think I definitely got something way above the retail value, if not just for the pure enjoyment of the design and the ability to wear something on my wrist that I would normally not be able to afford. A lot of people say that this is one of the ugliest watches ever made, or at least the original is, but I will disagree. Yes, it is unique, and it's got weird angles, and yeah, you know, it's obviously not what you would imagine as a pretty watch, but I think, man, it's just cool. It's like a tank, and I don't know, I guess I'm just gonna call it a manly watch. And despite all of the odd angles and the overall shape, it still is a comfortable watch to wear. I do like how it's maybe not offset, but it's flat right here with no buttons or pushers or crowns jutting out on this side, on the right side of the dial. That really allows for a lot of wrist flexion without any kind of protrusions digging into the back of your hand. And really, that does make it comfortable. And I will have to agree with the lug-to-lug size. Yes, the case diameter is big, but because that lug-to-lug is very reasonable, it does allow for long-term wear without any kind of discomfort. But really, the best thing about this watch is just how unique it is and how it goes against the grain with standard watch designs. I always appreciate that. And that's one of the reasons why I really like Invicta. A lot of people hate that watch company too, but you got to give it to them. They're creating things that you would never see from more popular watch brands, and that's refreshing to me. Just like this watch is very refreshing as well. So I think that if you are in the market for something different, not the same, but very good quality, then I highly recommend the Steeldive 1969. And I know I said I can't afford the original Omega Ploprof, but I will say that because I like this version so much, that is definitely going to be a watch that I will pursue. So hopefully by my 40th birthday, I'll be able to get myself a genuine Omega Ploprof. So that's all I gotta say. I hope you enjoyed this review. Thanks for watching. I'll probably have another review coming out next week of a Heimdaller. so make sure to tune in for that. But again, I always appreciate the support. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.